I want to talk a little bit about jumping out of airplanes and when that sounded like a great idea to you. Like when was the first time you did that and what was that like?
So never. This has never been a good idea. I will tell you that I don't believe in perfectly good airplanes. Number one, so I enjoy having a parachute. I was a child of divorce, so I flew a lot when I was a kid, back and forth between parents. I never enjoyed it, but I had a fear of heights. Honestly, 100% had a fear of heights, and I was like, I'm going to get over this. I'm going to go to airborne school. And one of the reasons
Interesting.
was is I really wanted to be with not just the military, but the next level of volunteer. Because just to come in the military, I mean, you remember the old stories. People say, "Oh man, I had a choice to go to jail or join the military, and they threw me in the army or they threw me in the Marines." And that still happens today in a lot of different scenarios. And so I didn't want to be with those guys. I didn't want to be with the clowns. I didn't want to be with the folks that just survived day to day. And so I wanted to go to the airborne, and at least a bare minimum, I wanted to be airborne because that was the next step of any special operations operator, ranger, SEALs. Everyone's got to be airborne to take the next step. And I was like, well, if I do the next steps, I need to at least have the base. And so when I became airborne and jumped out of an aircraft for the first time in the third week of January, excuse me, of 2004, I didn't have my eyes open. I was singing as loud as I could in my head and probably out loud too. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue by Toby Keith, because I was just
Nice.
there was no way I could have done it if I was standing the number one jumper. I don't know what my heart would have done at that moment, but I was about 4 or 5 guys back and I just followed the leader for the next few jumps. Unfortunately, jump number 4, I had a malfunction and had to pull my reserve parachute, as the instructor said, to save my own life. Um, got that done. My parents were actually there watching that jump. It was the first jump they ever watched. And so I never invited
Wow.
them back to watch me jump ever again.
Yeah.
Um, graduated from jump school, and then I was a static line jumper then for almost, let's see, 10, 11, so 15 years. I was a static line jumper, which means low level, a lot of people coming out. When Uncle Sam sends in static line jumpers, he is taking over the entire area with the full amount of force of the U.S. Army, Navy, and Marine Corps. It is not going to be fun for anyone watching that come out. And did that for many, many years. Became a jump master a few years later. I'm currently at about 221 jumps, static line. Um, and every step that I take, that I move up the tier of a more proficient jumper or jump master, I try to bring that education level to many different guys. I've gotten to teach jump master course. I've gotten to teach a lot of different civilian jump round courses as well. But then I know what you want to talk about is probably that high altitude stuff with all the special kids. I left the active duty service in 2017, 18, somewhere around there. Um, being wounded in Afghanistan, family issues, a lot of stuff. I couldn't take it anymore, and I needed to take a knee. And a very, very good leader of mine again called me up, said, "Hey, man, are you going to hurt yourself?" I said, "Dude, it's just the dark, man. I can't do it anymore. The Army's everything I ever wanted to be." He goes, "Well, come on, man. Let's come into the reserves." He goes, "And you know what you need to do? You need to become a parachute rigger." I was like, "Yeah, come on. I'm a combat guy. I don't want to do that." He's like, "No, dude, it'll give you the best break you need. You're so knowledgeable in parachutes. You love doing it. Bring that passion over here." And so I did. I joined the Army Reserves as a parachute rigger. I went from an E6 promotable down to an E4, and had to go back through AIT with a bunch of 21, 19, 18-year-old kids. And I was almost mid 30s by then. That was rough. But went through the course, got it done, came out. I'm with a unit here at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, the 824th Quartermaster, and they have Halo slots. It's traditionally called Military Free Fall School, for what you'd actually see it as, but I know a lot of the civilian community calls it Halo, High Altitude Low Opening. And they gave me a shot. They said, "Hey, man, you want to go?" I'm a skydiver already. Okay, let's try it. And so flew out to Yuma, Arizona, right during COVID. right towards the end of December of COVID. They told us, I was there 10 to 15 days prior. I had to sit in a barracks room, or it's a hotel, but it's technically a barracks because there's only one bed in every room. And sat there for 15 days watching E and whatever else I could get on the dang TV.
Yeah.
And they would bring us food and we got tested and blah, blah, blah. And then finally the school started. And that was cool because now we learned SF guys, Rangers, everybody have to learn to pack their own parachute in that course. So they had to learn, which made it super easy for me. So that was my lunchtime kind of. I got to sit back and knock those out. But then we went to the vertical wind tunnel. And then we also learned how to fly in what they call stacks. So one parachute's here, you're about 25 feet away, 25 feet up, and you're just flying very close to each other. So the goal and intention of Halo is to be able to exit at about 40,000 feet under oxygen, open your parachute around 35,000 feet, depending on mission sets, and then fly in under canopies with very little radar, notice to you. And so you want to be very close to your team in case something goes wrong. You can take care of each other. And of course, you're under radio communications, navigation equipment on our chest, things like that. It was great. I had some really great instructors. Nate Henderson was fabulous. Once they realized that I was a skydiver and I had a little bit of knowledge, just enough to mess up, they let me have a little bit of fun. Our final graduation jump was from 20,000 feet. 22,000 feet with full equipment, weapon systems, everything. And it sounds fun from the ground. But when you finally realize it's about 2 minutes, almost to 3 minutes of just falling, you kind of get bored. The world is beautiful at that altitude, but it's just kind of boring.
Wow.
But I came back and had an opportunity to go to the Special Warfare Center here and become the non-commissioned officer in charge of the Halo section. I ran and make sure that all the parachute systems for Halo were up to date, that the automatic emergency opening devices or activation devices were in tolerance, altimeters, everything like that. And then I also made sure that our guys stayed within the regulation and limits of what we're supposed to be able to do in the Army. Because some people get crazy. We're not the Red Bull skydiving team. We're not, anything like that. We're here to perform a job. Our real job is less of the fall and more of canopy work, flying in and hitting pinpoint targets. So you should be very good with your canopy, and not a lot of guys are. So I took some instructions from Paraclete XP out here in Rayford, North Carolina, from Greg Windmiller and a bunch of his guys, Andy Plisko from Evolution Ratings, and they're just some of the world-class canopy guys. And they absolutely 100% showed me what I needed to teach those guys and get guys hitting the target every single time.